Today we are talking about breaking bad habits. Bad habits can kill your physical and mental health, drain your energy, waste your time, create dependencies issues, sabotage your long-term goals, trash your self-confidence, and overall, they can just make us feel like crap. Everyone has bad habits, and I'm proud of you for wanting to kick them in the butt. There are a lot of videos out there that'll tell you need to do 5, 10, or 15 things in order to break bad habits. But I'm gonna be real with you. They didn't work for me. That's way too many steps for me to remember, let alone to try to incorporate into my life. All these tactics were forcing me to apply something to my life that really didn't feel right. Have you ever tried to force yourself to stop doing something? Like you're Zeus or some mythical god that could just say, "Be gone, bad habit," and it magically disappears? That worked about as well as trying to charge a phone with a potato. And no, that didn't work. It turns out that our brains are actually hardwired to protect these bad habits. That is why it's so hard to break these bad habits. That is, unless you apply this one strategy that I'm about to share with you. Hey everyone, I'm Brian. For over 20 years, I've taught thousands of people proven strategies to help them improve their personal and professional lives. If you've tried and failed to break a bad habit, I'm going to challenge you to watch for the next 5 minutes and discover the one strategy that I've learned to kick bad habits. Let me explain with a personal story. I've had some bad habits in the past, but one habit that was causing me really to struggle was trying to stay focused and concentrate on my work. Maybe you can relate. My mind would start to wander within the first couple minutes of doing a task, and before I knew it, I was scrolling on my phone. I tried all the life hacks I could find online. Most of these strategies came down to just forcing myself to focus by sheer willpower. It got better for a little bit, but then I'd let myself get distracted again. Willpower is like trying to hold up something really heavy. You can do it for a little bit, but eventually you're going to have to rest. And that's why my focus wouldn't last. I'd even move my phone to another room, but my mind didn't care. I would just start daydreaming, or I'd find something else to distract me. The phone wasn't the issue. So as another solution, I started to meditate. I watched all these YouTube videos about how to meditate the right way. Just close your eyes, take some slow, deep breaths, and pay attention to my breathing. And if my mind wanders, I just bring it back into focus. I thought, oh man, no big deal. Wow, was I wrong. Meditating was just as difficult, if not more, than trying to stay focused on my work. But meditation did teach me a valuable lesson. I was starting to figure out I was going to have to go deeper inside myself to understand what was really going on. I found out that what was happening to me is one of the oldest behaviors in human history. Our brains are wired by reinforcement cycles. Let's say you're hungry. Your body lets you know you're hungry because your stomach is growling. Your brain says, hey, I need food. What about that chocolate cake over there? So you eat it and you feel satisfied. This is called positive reinforcement. So your body develops this habit loop based on a favorable stimulus, aka the chocolate cake. Our brains are also driven by negative reinforcement. This means an unfavorable stimulus is removed from a habit loop. So an example of this is when a kid finally gives in and cleans their room because they're tired of hearing their parents nagging about them. If you have children, you probably have used this strategy. I know I have. So how does this relate back to my lack of focus? Listen to this. Every time my mind would wander from my work, it was looking for that proverbial chocolate cake. My brain was actually trying to protect me. Instead of a physical signal like hunger, our brains are triggered by our emotions. So when we face something that's a little challenging like work or boredom, like those times when we're not constantly stimulated, our brain tells us, hey, it's okay. I'm going to take good care of you. Go ahead and pick up that phone. You deserve it. If you've ever rationalized a bad habit and told yourself this, give this video a thumbs up. So, I know at this point, breaking a bad habit sounds pretty hopeless. You may be thinking, why fight it? I should just give in. Well, that's exactly what I did, but with a twist. I knew I was never going to be able to force myself to do something that my brain simply didn't want to do. So I started to practice a strategy called mindfulness. You may have heard about mindfulness, but it's basically the practice of being aware of what you're doing and what you're feeling in the moment, and also have a little bit of curiosity as you're performing those actions and experiencing your emotions. So here's how I use mindfulness to improve my focus. When I suddenly found myself checking my phone or starting to daydream, instead of beating myself up, I paused and became curious about that distraction. I paid particular attention to my physical actions. Did I reach for my phone automatically, or did my mind instinctively go to daydream mode first? Next, I turned into my emotions. I asked myself, am I feeling bored, frustrated, or overwhelmed by the task that I'm doing? I also observed my thoughts. What was I thinking? Was I thinking, is this too hard? By being curious about my distraction, I uncovered why this was happening. For me, I was making the job way too complicated, and my mind was wanting to shut down and do something more enjoyable. A solution to this was I started to break my job into smaller tasks and gave myself more rest breaks. And I made sure I wasn't so hard on myself if I goofed up. And the great part of this strategy is now I apply it to other pain points I run into. For example, sometimes I have a tendency to stress eat. When I find myself doing this, and it may be actually in the act of stress eating, I take a moment and really experience what I'm feeling right in that moment. I look at that potato chip in my hand, the experience of placing the chip in my mouth, the tastes, the sensations I'm feeling, the way it melts in my mouth. Now, I know this might sound a little weird, but this is mindfulness. You are curiously aware of every aspect of the experience. When you look at something through curious eyes, you'll begin to notice your cravings are just made up of sensations, restlessness, boredom, tension, and nervousness. All these sensations, they just come and go. And the best part, these are bite-sized experiences that we can manage from minute to minute or moment to moment, instead of thinking of these things as big, scary habits that we can't control. Mindfulness lets you step out of your fear and into a curious, thoughtful state. So the next time you feel the urge to give into that bad habit, try a little mindfulness and curiosity in that moment. It might just be your chance to break that bad habit. If you'd like to learn how to build good habits, check out this video, and I'll see you next time.